So we're in a fun era of physical media collecting where a lot of movies are getting the 4K upgrade, and in a lot of cases there are significant improvements over their prior Blu-ray masters, or in some cases even their prior DVD masters. It has been really cool to see how the format's evolving as the overall physical media space for movies and TV seems to be a more niche market. There's been more investment into making sure that niche market is served. There's been a lot of great 4Ks in recent years, and especially this year in particular, there's been a lot of really cool ones. But I have some complaints with the way some of them are being done, and also some questions of where the heck are the 4Ks. So I'm going to call this video 4K Blu-ray Woes.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and today we're going to talk about 4K Blu-ray Woes. As I alluded to in the intro, not all of these are about not having 4K. Not all of these are about their 4Ks being bad even. But I've got little critiques, little pokes, little like, could we do this a little better? Where are these things at? You can see a smattering of examples, and I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the video. I got a lot of things to talk about. So if you enjoy this type of video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads for Blu-rays and more on the channel. Definitely got some stuff in the works, so you want to stay tuned. But let's start talking about some of these Blu-rays and how they could be better on 4K. Alright, let's start in a topic we've come back to several times on the channel, Godzilla. This has been kind of an interesting thing. So I want to first of all say I have no problem with the Godzilla vs. Biollante 4K. Maybe there's some minor quabbles here and there. Some people point out like, oh, this thing over this thing. For the most part, this is a really excellent release, and Toho's been doing a lot more 4Ks for their Godzilla movies. Now, in terms of the Region A releases, we got Godzilla vs. Biollante from Criterion as kind of the first of the classic-era Godzilla films. Now, this is not inherently a problem, because it is just a nice single release of a movie. The problem I have, and this is I don't know how much of this is in control of Criterion or anybody involved, or whatnot, is that this is not the first Godzilla movie this era. The first one was Return of Godzilla. And so Godzilla 84, as it's also known, should have been the first one released. Because if someone's watching these on 4K for the first time or just wanting to watch them as they release, this is the second movie that we got first. Kraken releasing seems to have been dead for enough years now that it should have been licensable, but I don't know what is going on, rights-wise, because Godzilla has a bit of a messy rights history. So, we're kind of started a little bit out of order. The interesting part, too, is Criterion did their box set of the Showa Godzilla movies, and those all have 4K transfers now, as far as I know, and we haven't seen a 4K set of those, and I don't know if they're going to do a 4K set or if they're going to do singles like these. Now, when it comes to 4K, it is harder to do box sets because of the price, right? Look at the crazy Wes Anderson collection they have coming out. That thing's like $400. It is definitely tricky to do box sets with 4K because of the cost of producing 4K discs, not just the amount of work involved, but with the actual disc cost itself. 4K is, a premium release product. Now, when it comes to Godzilla vs. Biollante, they did the Blu-ray at the same time. If you just wanted the standard Blu-ray, I think that's great, and that's how they should do it. So the thing I'm, looking at is that are we going to need to buy each Godzilla movie on 4K piecemeal? Because I don't inherently hate that, but that also does sort of create a space issue, right? Because, as it stands, if we're talking Heisei era, we're sitting at like this, Heisei Millennium. I have all these cases at the moment, and all of these are double features over here. But that also became an issue because, like Sony, for example, instead of putting the two Millennium movies that are connected, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, they ordered them in order of release. But then because Godzilla 2000 they wanted to have as a standalone release, Megaguirus, which is the second movie after 2000, the Millennium Era, is paired with the last Heisei movie. And it should have been Destroya and then 2000, and then it could have, it should have been Destroya in 2000, then you could have had Megaguirus and GMK, and then you could have had Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS together, and then Final Wars would have been on its own, I guess. It's just the way that they did it, and so what I'm kind of hoping for is that as we're going forward, if they're all going to be singles, fine by me, because then we can put them in the right order, and if there's going to be a box set, usually they lead with that, so kind of a thing I'm pointing out. There is a 4K of 1998 Godzilla. I just don't like that movie enough to buy it on 4K. I'm sure it's an upgrade, but I just don't feel like getting it. But maybe I will. It won't match spine-wise regardless. The other thing I do hope for, and this goes in extended form as well, is that Mothra, the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, I hope gets the 4K treatment. I don't know if Toho has plans for that, but it would be nice to see because I really like these movies. I would also like to see, Mothra get the 4K treatment. I would also like to see Rodan and War of the Gargantuas, just the Frankenstein movies in general, get 4Ks, because the fact that, like, the last time we got Rodan and War for the Gargantuas, which is the second movie, because the first movie was Frankenstein Conquers the World, the fact that these two movies were paired together was a little weird, but, that's the last time we got them was on this, what was this? Who did this? Classic Media DVD? We haven't gotten Blu-rays. It'd be nice to see 4Ks. When it comes to stuff shot on film, I'm always like, hey, you have the material. If you have the material, do the 4K. And what's nice, too, is that we are seeing more Godzilla 4Ks. The next one to seemingly release will be Shin Godzilla, because G-Kids picked up the rights, which is funny because Toho owns G-Kids now, so it's kind of like Toho picked up the rights from Toho to release Shin Godzilla. So we're getting a new Shin Godzilla 4K later because they announced that they're doing a theatrical release, and I believe they said home video afterwards, which, naturally will include 4K Blu-ray. And hopefully it's not a mess like the Godzilla -1 4K Blu-ray, which I'd had to do a whole video on. But they also confirmed they're putting back in the very Hideaki Anno specific title cards that he uses in all his movies that were taken out of the North American release of Shin Godzilla. So there's going to be a better release overall. But when it comes to the rest of these movies, if Criterion's doing them, whoever's doing them, hopefully Criterion, the rest of the movies getting the treatment that Biollante got would be ideal. And I just hope that, it's, if they're going to be random, whatever it needs to do to clear the rights stuff. But it would be nice if they could, like, go back and do 84 and then just start doing them in order. I think it would be a little bit less confusing for the overall market. But other than that, I don't really have anything to complain about besides I just want the other movies, and it's just, I find it weird we started with number 2. And going from one messy franchise on home video to another, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this one might be being rectified in the near future, but I still want to talk about it. There was a teaser from Arrow Video, one of my favorite publishers, with a sewer lid, with a little Turtles tease on National Turtle Day. We don't know exactly what that entails. There's a lot of rumors. There has been rumors for years. I have sat here listening to rumors of Ninja Turtles 1990 is coming to 4K this year, and I've heard that for like 10 years. So, like, I'm really wanting it, but, now that Arrow Video's teased it, starts to feel a little bit real. That being said, I do want to talk about, just briefly, what I'm kind of hoping for a 4K release. The first thing is bonus features, because these releases, which this set here, it looks a little ugly because of the clear discs and stuff. But the thing is, like, this release is the same discs that have been pumped out over and over again by Warner Brothers and New Line, like, since Blu-ray has existed. The big hope I have is that we're going to get bonus features. Ernie Reyes Jr. already kind of spilled the beans that he filmed interviews, so I'm pretty sure they're doing new bonus features. But stuff I would like to see, there's deleted scenes for the first movie that ended up on the German Blu-ray, I believe. So there's actual footage, not just stills. There's a bunch of stills that could be included. I think Arrow Video doing the original Ninja Turtles movies is fantastic. That is definitely something I'm really, really looking forward to, because the idea itself, I think, sounds awesome. They've done some amazing releases, and I'm sure this will be no different. Now, the big question I have is, okay, we've got the 1990 movie, we got Secret of the Ooze, we got Turtles 3. So here's the question. Is Arrow just doing these? And is poor TMNT going to get left out? Because this movie sits in such a weird space. It's the first theatrical animated Ninja Turtles movie, but it is technically continuity tied to these 3 movies. The way they wrote the movie was as if it was a sequel to these. So that's why, this pack makes sense to bundle them all together. It doesn't have any continuations or connections otherwise. And I'm a little bit worried that, like, we're going to get 4Ks of these, and then this poor movie's going to be left floating about. Now, I would not necessarily say you have to package this in with, like, a trilogy pack of these 3, but I'd like somebody to release that again. And Arrow Video, they don't do animation that often, but if they're doing Ninja Turtles, maybe they worked it out. But I think it's just, I'm sitting here hoping this is finally the year that these movies get a proper upgrade, because the transfers on these are not horrible. They could be better. And in particular, I'm, like, kind of looking for, like, can we finally get some bonus features? Can we finally get, like, a really solid release for Ninja Turtles? Because practically every one of them has a problem. So I'm hoping and praying that it's all good, and I trust Arrow Video to do a good job. But my biggest question is, what's going to happen to TMNT? That's my question. Hey, look, it's the thing that spawned the idea for this video, James Bond. Let's talk about it. So, they have started doing classic Bond on 4K. So let's recap a little bit. We have, in terms of what's on 4K for James Bond, they did the Daniel Craig collection of his 5 movies. There was also a 4-movie version of that, but it had a really cool cover where it was like, Daniel Craig Bond, looking cool, matching the tone of his movies. Good stuff. They just released this week the Sean Connery 6-film collection, which has that cover. I hate that cover. I don't know what it is about, 4K releases. Just a lot of times, we get really good looking covers, and then sometimes we just get stuff like that where it's like, what is that? They had a template with the Daniel Craig set. Would have been nice to kind of match it. I also have a major issue with the structure of the Sean Connery set. I've heard the set's great. I haven't gotten mine yet. I was kind of waiting to see reviews because, 4Ks can be a little dodgy sometimes. And I was like, I'm going to pick it up. It definitely looks like it's a good, solid, really great transfer release. Definitely an upgrade over the Blu-rays. The thing I do have issue with is the structure. Because we need to go through a little bit of kind of the issue with sort of how James Bond is being released in 4K, because they've already pissed me off from the jump. So let's talk about it. So remember I was talking about Godzilla and how Biollante coming out second is a little bit of an issue. Yeah, well, here's the thing they did with Bond here. So going back to the Bond 50th set, which I think is the best James Bond box set personally. It doesn't have every bonus feature. I know stuff from the DVDs never made it over to this, but it's the way that Bond is. So this is, I think, one of the best box sets. So we got Sean Connery. So if we go through order, we have Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Diamonds Are Forever. Then you have Live and Let Die, which is a new Bond. Now here's the thing. The first 7 movies here, one of them doesn't star Sean Connery. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is this gentleman, George Lazenby. He was Bond for 1 movie and 1 movie only. And so for On Her Majesty's Secret Service being the only time he was the Bond, and then they brought Sean Connery back for Diamonds Are Forever, the Sean Connery Bond collection is movies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. So there's not necessarily an ongoing continuity with the Bond movies of the classic eras. It's more of a Daniel Craig's movies have kind of connected tissue together. But when it comes to the Bond movies, they have a natural progression, and major stuff happens on Her Majesty's Secret Service that Bond as a character through these movies is really affected by, and you can see it in the next movies following that. So it's really kind of a problem for me in terms of a viewing experience that I would have to essentially, pause. If I'm watching a set, wherever they release On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I have to switch sets to watch the movies in order, and that bugs me. Okay, so I know it sounds like I'm kind of bitching about nothing, but the thing I have an issue with is this, because you can break down the Bond sets by actor, but why not just call it the Sean Connery collection and you just throw in the one George Lazenby movie, just so you have a nice consistent chronology? Because remember how I was talking about with Godzilla, with this whole thing, right? When you have Mega Gyarus, which happens after 2000, but it's in the previous set, and then the 2 movies that are connected are in separate sets, it's just obnoxious. It really is. And it's, the way they're doing it is they're oh, it's the Sean Connery collection. Why can't it just be called James Bond Volume 1? And the fact that it's not called James Bond Volume 1 also kind of annoys me, because it's well, does that, are they not confident that we're going to get the rest of the movies? And then at that point, should I invest in a 4K collection? Because there is a lot of Bond movies, and I think they all would sell. They keep re-releasing them all the time. So it's just annoying. My kind of general plan, though, was I was thinking, I was almost thinking, what if I just swap out the discs in this set with the 4Ks? And then it wouldn't be a problem for me. But, as a problem, as a product, I think it is an issue. It does also kind of annoys me too, because then it starts to sort of put this, I don't know if it's a controversial statement, but there's not one true Bond, just like there's not one true Doctor Who. there is multiple actors that have done an amazing job in this part, and I kind of do hate when one gets elevated above the others so much, which kind of feels like it happens with Sean Connery, it happens with David Tennant at Doctor Who. Even though other actors have done amazing jobs, everybody's got their favorite Bond, everybody's got their favorite Doctor, but it does kind of run into this issue when you start to see like the marketing lean into like, oh, do you want the best Bond collection? And it's like, yeah, okay, I really do like Connery's Bond movies, and he is the template for all things going forward. But, I also like a lot of the Roger Moore movies. I, really like some of the later movies after that. Like, there's a lot of great stuff from the Roger Moore era. I don't know, some people don't like it as much. It's a little goofier, especially towards the end where he's getting older. Timothy Dalton I thought was great. But Pierce Brosnan's my favorite. So, like, is there a Pierce Brosnan collection? And that's the thing I also wonder, too. Breaking it down by actor, obviously they'd already done Daniel Craig. But like I said, that was kind of like, that was a series of movies. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die. That's a chronology there with him. But, how's this going to work out, right? So, last point I'll make on this, I know I'm going way too long on this, but whatever, this is the thing that bugs me. So if we get Honor Majesty Secret Service, is that going to be a single release, right? Is that going to be a single release? How many movies does Roger Moore have? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 Roger Moore movies, 6, 7. We got 7 Roger Moore movies. So you have a set of 6, a set of 7. Dalton only has 2, so then you got 2, and then Brosnan has 4, so that's another set of 6. So it's going to be 6, single, 7, 6. Just assuming they combine Brosnan and Dalton. If you put Lazenby with Connery, it could have been 7, 7, 6, and it would have been in order, and it wouldn't have been a problem. 7, 7, 6, and I guess 5 for the Craig set. It's one of those things. Like, I know we're not going to get a box set like this for the 4Ks because prohibitively expensive. Because if you get all the Bond movies in one set, that would be very expensive. But I just kind of wish they hadn't left. Lazenby's movie. I think it should have put that in the Sean Connery set. And if people were like, I just want the Sean Connery movies, well, too bad. You got a bonus movie that's pretty good and just is overlooked for a lot of reasons, even though it's really solid and has one of the most famous Bond music pieces in it that's used in so many things. It's even in the video game trailer. So anyways, my point is, I'm hoping this isn't a mess by the end of it when it comes to the 4Ks. I think, breaking it up is necessary, but it, should have just been still in order, because this is not a reboot every single time they swap actors. It is one continuity, and then you get to Daniel Craig, and he's a reboot. But that's Bond. All right, that's my thing. Let's talk about the next things, which are things that don't have 4Ks, even though they should. Hey, Disney. Hey, yeah, what's up? You released a new Tron movie this year. Where's my 4Ks? There's been a lot of rumors. Nothing's materialized yet. We are now sitting, as time of recording, 4 months out from Tron Ares. And usually when there's a marketing lead up to a movie, which, Tron Ares has basically no marketing besides here's a trailer, and here's a trailer we showed at a convention that was better than the trailer released to the public. Outside of that, there's basically no marketing for Tron Ares. And, what would be great part of that would be 4K Blu-rays for Tron and Tron Legacy. Also adding to this, it would be really great if you put out a Blu-ray of Tron Uprising, because, it's the least you could do after canceling that show. That was pretty great. We've had Blu-rays of both of these. We have Blu-ray 3D for Legacy. I have had these same exact discs for 15 years. We have had so many cool advancements and things. There are so many, restoration techniques for movies like Tron and for Tron Legacy, which have a lot of VFX. There's a lot of things to do to upscale and remaster these things into 4K. I think the audio presentation on Tron Legacy on 4K alone would sell it. Where are they? There's no announcement of it. There's just been rumors. There's been talk. There's, this transfer exists. This exists there. Where's the actual release, though? When is it actually coming? Because, again, we're 4 months out. You think, we would have an announcement. Are they going to drop it right before Ares? Are they going to wait till Ares comes out and they're going to put together a box set with all 3 movies plus Uprising? I don't think so, because Disney sucks at releasing things these days. Like, where's the next wave of Disney Plus show Blu-rays? They sold really well, and then complete silence again. Very frustrated, because I am ready for the 4K treatment for Tron, and I figured it would be when the next movie came out. And yet, here we are. Next movie's coming out. We barely have any marketing for it, and now we barely have any releases. So yeah, that's all I got there, because I'm just kind of like, where's my dang Blu-rays? Where's my 4Ks? All right, last example I got in this video. It's not the only thing. I'm sure there's other things I could come up with of like, this needs a 4K. Planet of the Apes. So this has been kind of a little bit of a frustration for me. So when I'm talking Planet of the Apes, and I you know, when I'm talking about this, I do mean the classic movies. Obviously, we've had the modern films on 4K pretty much since they came out. You know, I would say, what is it? We got 4Ks of Rise and Dawn after 4K existed in 2016, then War came out straight to 4K. I'm talking the classics. I'm talking the original 5 movies. Sure, even throw the Tim Burton movie in there. When it came to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming out last year, which was a movie I loved, I thought it was great. It really revitalized. It did well. It did well. They're making another one. They're doing more Planet of the Apes. You know, Disney was in a weird transitional period with their home video departments, but we got nothing. We didn't even get this set reprinted. We got nothing as a tie-in in terms of home video releases. And what's also frustrating is that some digital services like Apple TV / iTunes have a 4K version of the original Planet of the Apes. So where's the Blu-ray? You know, and there's been talk, there's been rumors, you know, a lot of this video probably will age poorly, and I hope it does. That's the whole point of it. I'm making this video hoping it ages poorly. But this was the last box set we got, which was in 2018. It's a harder to get set now, and there hasn't been a reissue. There hasn't been a re-release. When they released Kingdom, I thought, oh, maybe they'll repack and do like a big 4K box set, throw all 10 movies together. But they didn't. So we're still sitting here wondering, you know, I do think if we do a 4K set, they probably will split up classic movies and modern movies. You know, Paramount did that with the Star Trek films, right? They did an original series set and a Next Generation set. Keeps costs down, stuff, works out. I'm just wondering, like, you know, are we going to get 4Ks for the original movies? Because I love the Blu-rays and the way that the menus are designed. And I guess I forgot to mention this too. I have no idea how the menus are on the Bond 4Ks, but my guess is it's a still image with a generic menu layout. Whereas the Bond 50th collection and the Blu-rays in here have like the same menu design for every movie, where it does like this really cool, I'm going to put footage up here, I don't care. Every movie kind of starts the same, and it's a bit of a surprise reveal as to which one it is as it starts to reveal parts of it, and it's really thematic to the Bond experience, and love it. The 4Ks can have the best picture quality all they want, but nothing's topping the Blu-ray menus on these Bond Blu-rays. All right, back to Apes. Same deal. The classic Apes movies came out in an early Blu-ray time frame where they had these really cool menus, and you can see, like, you know, each movie has like a specific menu to that movie. Love that. Probably, sadly, a 4K is not going to have that, but I still would like to see an upgrade in presentation. Having looked at the 4K version that's on digital for Planet of the Apes, the original, looks great. Looks like a good upgrade. I want to see Conquest in 4K, you know, with the original cut included as well. I don't want that to get lost on just Blu-ray. That should be 4K as well. They have the material. It would be nice to see. And now that we're looking at the next Apes movie coming out, I think 2027, is that when we're going to get a new box set with the 4K? That's a question. Are they going to wait and make us wait till the 60th in 2028? I don't know. I'm just putting out the call. I need classic Apes in 4K. It'd be really, really nice to see. All right, so that was my video. It was hopefully not too complainy, but, you know, I had some things I wanted to talk about. You know, I'm looking forward to hopefully everything here getting all 4K'd up. That would be really great, and hopefully all upgrades, because you know, I've done a video on worse Blu-rays. Let's hope nothing gets a Terminator 2 treatment. If you haven't checked out any of those other videos, by all means, there is a playlist. Soundout's Disc discussion has been going strong on this channel for a while. And if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button and subscribe and the notification bell if you haven't already. Leave any comments down below. Tell me something you want to see upgraded to 4K. Tell me something that's bothering you the way they're doing it on 4K, like how I'm kind of bothered by the way the Bond releases are coming out. But in general, like, you know, just let me know your thoughts. If you want to continue the conversation, you can join our Discord server in the link below. You can join as a channel member if you wish and get perks like early access to videos, member-exclusive live streams, and more. Let's give some special shout-outs to our channel members. So Special shout out to our channel members, including Captain Tier, Spin-54, Masterbin95, Forever1000, Super Shaddix Boom, Mr. Smelly Potato, Starhu, Gabriel Saez, Luffy D Monkey, Joy-Con Girl, Mass Fuego, Onio Nichan, Dr. Grid, RC Scorchcore, Crestfallen Thoughts at Midnight, Paul Miller, Colby Massengale, Aggressively Relaxing, Michael, Kaiju1954, B-Min, Professional Troll Taylor, Jeffrey Piemonte, Lacey Dean, Ben Nguyen, Mr. Airverse16, Jamie's World, Cineroth, The Clueless Collector, Z-Man 12 Bat, Isabella Lawrence, Geets, TRPCDRD, Omega Saiyan, Kakiku Kaku, Gang 1, and Ben Odinson. Thank you everybody for your support. You can also find me on social media on Blue Sky and Discord at Soundout12, my wonderful graphic designers on Blue Sky and our Discord server at DarkClaw643, and you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for entertainment, interviews, news, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, let's see these things on 4K.